Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to episode 449 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly gaming podcast for Words About Games. I'm one of your hosts, Amy K. Alexander, and I will be joined in a moment by the only boy themselves, Vitz Patel. But I need to jump in real quick right here at the beginning of the podcast to apologize for the first 20 minutes of the podcast is gone. There was some sort of audio glitch, I guess. There's no audio for it, so I didn't really want to put out like a mime show. Would it be a mime show? Yeah, it would be a mime show of a podcast, which suddenly cuts into Vitz talking about The Last of Us, season 2, part 2, episode, whatever the fuck. There's a lot of twos. So I just thought I'd break in real quickly here to do the intro and just the introduction portion of the podcast, where we talk about what's been going on, how we're doing, crack a few jokes, get settled into the podcast is gone, and a small portion of what Vitz was talking about The Last of Us, which was mostly just talking about season 1 before building up to their main point. That's gone too, and then this new introduction that I'm recording right now is going to segue in beautifully into Vitz talking about The Last of Us Part 2, Season 2, Episode 2, Electric Boogaloo. So I've taken up enough time re-recording a new intro to explain that, so I'm just going to pass it off to past Amy and past Vitz to continue the podcast. It's a really fun one, I think. I think we did a good job. I'm going to pat myself on the back. That was me patting myself on the back. Anyway, enjoy.
Going back to the TV show, I have to remind myself that ultimately this project is not for me. And it's not necessarily for you either, Ames, or indeed any of us who play video games and have experienced the story and the stories that video games tell, kind of thing. Adaptations is to get money, because everything's about to get money, but also to open up the stories of video games to people who don't play them. The quote-unquote normies, as you would, who'll watch TV, watch movies, nothing wrong with that. And sometimes adaptations tend to dumb down things because they have this weird perception that your regular TV watching audience needs to be spoon-fed certain plot elements and certain character motivations in order to get the point across, where in a video game, because you're an active participant, for me, it's the highest form of art in terms of storytelling. In terms of it's on you to get these people through these situations, and through yourself doing the actions on the sticks or on the mouse and keys or whatever it happens to be, you are intrinsically involved in understanding what those motivations are, what you need to do, because you're the one carrying those actions, and it's tricky to translate that over to a inactive experience when it comes to watching a TV show and things like that. Where the show fails for me, and it does a ton right, so I don't necessarily just want to focus on the negatives. The writing isn't as good as it is in the video games.
Okay.
And for me, it cheapens the whole experience, and it leaves me feeling sad for the people who are only ever going to watch this show, and they're going to enjoy it because they don't necessarily know that the video games are infinitely better and stuff like that. And it's not me, looking down on the people just watching TV show or movies or whatever it happens to be. It's they felt the need to quote unquote dumb it down in order to appeal to a number of people, rather than to treat them with respect, to say, okay, you understand this and you're on that level, or you're not. And if you're not, that's fine. There are plenty of other things for you to go and consume, kind of thing. But on the positive side, the performances are excellent, and the feeling that the show leaves me with isn't a reflection on the actors themselves, because at the end of the day, they can only put down, or they can only portray what's on the script and what's on the page, kind of thing, and they can do their interpretation of those. And obviously, like directors and whatnot will give them direction in terms of, it needs to be a little bit like this, a little bit like that. But it's interesting that the end result is less impactful for me. Now, that just might be be because I've had to do that on the sticks, and I was the one involved in that, rather than as now a backseat participant and just watching it. But in this way, it's quote unquote dumbed it down. It is a lesser experience for me. It is still a show worth watching. It's not like you can just throw it out the window and it's like, right, I'm done with it. I don't need to watch anything else, because I know what they can do with like the Bill and Frank episodes. And there is an episode coming up where we're going to dive into the story of a NPC who we didn't really find out too much about in the video game. And Joe Pantaleone is going to come through and participate in that episode. I'm sure that's going to be wonderful. So yeah, I just wanted to go through it just to say, if you haven't checked out the series yet, go and do it, but have your expectations tempered. And yeah, and all this is caveated by saying, Pedro Pascal, Bella Ramsey, Isabella Merced, and Caitlin Dever, and cast and crew, they are phenomenal at what they do. The production design is incredible as well, but the writing is lesser because I think they're writing it for a quote-unquote lesser audience because they need to make it more mass appealing. The scuttlebutt online, for my interpretation at least, is... Ames, I'm not sure if you watched The Walking Dead at any point.
I watched a few seasons.
Did you get up to when Negan was knocking around?
No. So the last episode, I can tell you, the last episode of The Walking Dead I watched was... and like, I started off watching it because the pilot was amazing. Loved the pilot. The rest of the first season was pretty good. Season 2... I feel like I don't need to explain.
That was the farmhouse one, right?
Yes,
yeah.
that was the farmhouse one. And like I kept watching it because it was popular, not necessarily because I was enjoying it, because I was an idiot. But then I got to the episode where the blonde girl got kidnapped and she was at the hospital. And then, like, she walks out of the hospital, and then she shoots that woman, and then she gets shot, and I was just like, that was the dumbest thing I have seen in a television show in a long time, and I am going to stop watching now. So I don't know. I think that was probably before the Negan
It was. So, yeah, Jeffrey D. Morgan came through the show, and they played the character Negan, and they delivered one of the most brutal things I've ever seen on television. Now, what happens?
I've read the comic.
Yes.
So I know about the baseball bat.
Yeah, when they take out Glenn, or, the infected take out Glenn, or whatever it is. But yeah. So the events of the video game are brutal. There's no way getting around that. And a lot of the scuttlebutt online, from what I've managed to glean, is that the events of the show are so horrific that people are saying, I can't watch anymore. I don't want to be involved anymore with this, which I think is interesting.
That's
yes,
fair.
100%.
I know, and I know he won't mind me retelling this story. I know Keith dipped on watching Game of Thrones. He wasn't watching it like week to week, so he was like binging it, because like if you binge the show, two things happen in very quick succession. Of like, you have spoilers for Game of Thrones. You have the Red Wedding, followed very quickly by the incredibly graphic death of Joffrey, and he just went, nope, you know what? Not for me. This show is not for me. I don't want to watch anymore. And I just went, yeah, that's fair, right?
Yeah, 100%. And so the Jeffrey D. Morgan episode, when they came through in Walking Dead, that was the last episode that I watched. Not necessarily because of the brutality, but that was the... Oh, so this is where we're going, because at that point, and it took me, 6 seasons or whatever it was, it only was by then that I took the plot in terms of, okay, they get together as a group, they go to a place, they think it's safe, it's no longer safe, they have to move to another place. They think it's safe, it's no longer safe, they have to move. And I was like, okay, we're done with this rinse and repeat stuff.
Man is the real monster, or some bollocks.
Yes.
No, the zombies are the real monsters, Linda. Look at them.
But yeah, when it comes to the HBO show, people are in of disbelief, which many of us were when we played the video game, in terms of, shit, I wasn't expecting that. If you remained unspoiled, that kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, thanks internet.
And there's a lot of confusion as it were when it comes to Ned Stark, in terms of, I can't believe they did that. How could they do that to this character? I love this character. He was my brother. He was my dad. He was someone I related to. That kind of thing. And yeah, it's interesting that and not many people are. And now this just might be that a TV audience is more quote unquote reasonable than a video game audience. But there doesn't seem to be the vitriol towards Abby as a character. Amy.
I have a statement to make about this. I believe that some of the backlash has been mitigated by the fact that Caitlin Dever is an attractive young woman who does not have big muscles.
Ding, 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 ding. Nailed it.
Thank you. I am Amy Kate Alexander, and I approve this message.
Yes. Yeah, so there doesn't seem to be the hatred towards Abby, which is obviously a great thing for the people involved in the production of the show. Now, whether this is because HBO took a different method, or I say the showrunners took a different message in terms of, or method, in doing a lot of upfront storytelling to give the motivations of Abby as a character up front, whereas we tend to find those out slightly later on in the game in terms of what would drive someone to do all this. Maybe that's mitigating some of that, or maybe we're just at a slightly more evolved time. I don't know.
We're not in a more evolved time. Jesus Christ, have you looked out of the window lately? I don't know. That's an interesting one. Because obviously, I haven't seen The Last of Us Season 2, and I have no intentions of watching it, but I did play the video game. It's interesting that the motivations of Abby are revealed, I'm assuming, before the golfing incident.
Yes.
That's interesting. Because I don't know if that would... I don't... Because I'm just going to keep calling it the golfing incident to avoid spoilers, because the gamers will know what I'm talking about. The golfing incident, part of, I think, the power of that moment, and this is someone who doesn't necessarily like The Last of Us Part 2 a great deal. Like, the power of that moment was the surprise.
Yes. 100%.
like the sudden and swift heel turn. It's like you just did not see it coming in the slightest, like any of the events of the golfing incident. So that's interesting. Like, I wonder how that would have changed if, like my thoughts and feelings on it. Which, to be fair, I liked the beginning of The Last of Us Part 2. I wonder how I would have felt if I had have had all of that information like leading into it.
Yeah. So to still keep things spoiler free, as it were, they give Abby as a character a monologue to share, and that's where she lays it all out. And in the video game, if you remember, as soon as she blows Joel's kneecap off and he gets tourniqueted by Mel, he has this one killer line which says, "Whatever speech you've got prepared, just get it over with." And Pedro Pascal's character doesn't get the chance to do this in here because they felt the need for Caitlin Dever to deliver this monologue. And for me, it took the momentum out of the scene, because I'm familiar with the scene of how it plays on the video game, and I understand the impact and how visceral it was, because it was, oh fuck, this is how, oh shit, that's happened already. Yeah. And so it's different ways to go about it for different audiences. And we're never going to get a complete one-to-one remake of an adaptation of something, because you speak to a different audience and you're trying to get dollars out of this audience rather than dollars out of video game audience, and the two might be the same. But it all comes back to, for my money at least, these adaptations aren't for me. It's not to say that I can't enjoy them, but you just need to take them with a grain of salt every now and then.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, again, it's not something like I was ever planning on watching. Like, I did. I remember I did watch the first season because Moody wanted to review it on the podcast, so I thought, and I had access to it, so I thought I'll watch it. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, The Last of Us is like one of my favorite games of all time.
Yes.
So it was an easy sell, right? Like, for me, it was like, oh yeah, sure, why not? I like Pedro Pascal. I like Bella Ramsey. I like Nick Offerman. Yep. Like, let's go. I like Anna Torv, and she was in it for a couple of episodes, and I was like, holy shit, she was in Fringe. She's amazing. And like, I didn't enjoy it a great deal, but like the TV show, like I didn't enjoy it. Like, I thought it was fine. Like, whatever. It was interesting the thing you said before about TV, like, being passive because I get what you mean, where it's like you're not like controlling the events on the screen with a controller, but like I don't think of TV as a passive medium. Like personally, I don't think of anything as passive. Like I think if you're engaging with any form of art or media, like I don't think music's passive. I don't think books are passive, like that kind of thing. Like I think when we reach the levels of the Netflix, that one Netflix guy saying like, oh, we want to make things that people can have on in the background while they're boiling cabbage or whatever the fuck he was talking about. And I'm like, that's why you lose me, because I'm not interested in like watching that kind of TV show. I don't want something that's just background noise. I want something that's foreground noise. Yeah. So like, I think anytime you make something in a different medium, you have to change things because each medium is different. Like,
yes,
some of the changes that were made from the Lord of the Rings novels to the Lord of the Rings movies, and they're absolutely the right changes because it's not you're watching a movie, not reading a book.
As much as people like Tom Bombadil, he wouldn't have fit in that
Tom Bombadil and the barrel lights. It would have been like the movie would have just like handbraked. It's like no, you have to keep the momentum going. Like it's a very different type of experience.
Like, you set this grounded view of the Shire, and there's a firework red dragon, and then you're going to introduce Bombadil.
But the pacing of it is, it's like shit. These fucking guys are coming to fucking kill us, right? It's like you can't pull a handbrake in a movie and do a Tom Bombadil skit for 10 minutes, and then you've got to build that level of threat back up, right? It's like it's not going to work. That's not how movies work. So you can't do that. Sorry, book enjoyers. Tom Bombadil's still in the book, and he is still fucking weird as fuck.
The original mediums are still there.
Yeah, and it's just like the games of The Last of Us still exist, and I still, like I say, I treasure The Last of Us. Like,
and Lord knows Sony will keep remastering those suckers.
They're releasing another edition. I saw on the PlayStation Store.
They're releasing a like a bundle with Part 1 and Part 2 remastered.
Bro, stop.
Yes,
please, but save me from The Last of Us over and over again. But like, the TV show being something that I didn't vibe with, except for that one episode about Bill, which like actively makes me like, and it's weird. The Bill thing's weird because at first, when I was like, oh no, like, because I realized the whole thing was going to be flashbacks. And we all did when you were watching the episode. And I was like, no, but the back and forth between Bill and Ellie in the game is really funny. It's really good. I like that part. But then it's like, you watch the episode and you're like, okay, it's a worthy sacrifice.
Yes.
But like the story of Bill in the game, like for me, is like now not as good because I've seen the story of Bill in the TV show. And I'm like, oh, like, but then you still get the back and forth between Ellie and Bill. And I'm like, you know what? It's fine. But yeah, like the TV show being something that I don't particularly enjoy does not diminish my enjoyment of the game at all.
100%.
And some people just don't like video games. That's fine. Like,
this is true, yeah.
Like I don't know what they have and haven't done with the golfing incident, apart from what you've just told me. But
yeah, and I don't necessarily want to expand too much because then I think it would get into spoiler territory, and I don't want to do that.
That's fair. We can if you want. We can just put a spoiler on.
They changed the lineups of the people who are in there at that scene at the moment, and they make some interesting choices as to what to do to sideline some of them. There's several planes of action happening at once, and because they're both super high tension, it kind of diminishes the impact of the golfing incident because you're also worried about, oh, what's this new thing that you're seeing for the first time? Because you don't know what's about to happen because anything can happen.
So
on
you're
the other
watching,
side.
You're watching this. So you're watching scenes from something that's new.
Yes,
and not with no clue, like idea what's about to happen next, and which I'm assuming includes peril for characters.
Oh yeah, both instances of the two planes of action, the intensity is at 10, and it's like maximum.
And you're watching scenes which
And
are
they're cutting back and
probably
forth.
which are okay, and they're supposed to be like, and these other scenes that you have seen before are also supposed to be high intensity, but you already know
Yes.
what's going to happen. Interesting. That would be weird.
Yeah.
That would be very weird as a viewing experience. I think if you're supposed to be at the same level of intensity, but you know what's going to happen over here, but then you're like, oh shit, but actually I don't know what the fuck's going to happen over here. Damn, that would be a strange viewing experience. Maybe I should watch the episode.
Yes.
As a science experiment for myself and just be like, oh, very strange.
Because in the back of your mind, you know that some characters have insane amount of plot armor, but you don't know what's going to happen in a TV adaptation. Anything can happen.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so like I'm pretty certain these characters are going to be okay, because otherwise what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
That's why I just thought it warranted a discussion. And yeah, hopefully, dear listeners, you comment down below where you listen to this podcast in terms of what your thoughts are, because I'd be really interested to see, because as I said, like maybe it's because I'm on Bluesky now and I no longer use Twitter, that it's just a less toxic place. I don't want to say it's a non-toxic place. It's definitely less toxic. And yeah, maybe there's less vitriol coming up to the fore. But even like reading some pieces on Eurogamer, they were taking like a kind of like a Monday quarterback view of what the people's reactions were. And it's interesting how on platforms like TikTok, people who had played the video games, they were recording reactions of people who hadn't, as they watched the thing and the show, and that was interesting.
Oh, interesting. So
yeah,
I can't go on Twitter and search, because
yes,
you can't do anything on there without logging in, which is the stupidest social media. I don't know.
But it does track for that platform and the people who own it.
I'm going to go on YouTube. I've got my burner account up because I don't want to. I definitely don't want to play. I'm just going to type The Last of Us. I'm just going to see what happens.
Yes.
It's a lot of clickbait. There's a lot of official stuff. Ooh, that's a very graphic screenshot to use as a thumbnail of a video on YouTube.
Yes,
shouldn't be able to do that, surely. And the best part is, it's an ending. The Last of Us ending explained, and I'm like, I don't think I need that. Like, with the context of the image and knowing the video game, I don't necessarily need. I don't think I actually need that explained. A lot of these are by the same person. Season 2 is awful. They actually did it. Like HBO's The Last of Us is dead. IGN, why this moment doesn't work. There doesn't seem to be a lot of vitriol, and I'm on my burner account that thinks that I am a fucking, gaming, capital G gamer, right? So maybe it's just like a layer deeper than that, but I don't know. It's probably all happening on Twitter.
Yeah, there's a very interesting podcast I listened to this week. It's got the best name ever for a Last of Us podcast. It's called Clickerbait. It's by Jerica and Kayla, who do a lot of stuff in Drop In, Drop Out podcast. So go check out that podcast too, because they do weekly breakdowns of each and every episode of the TV show, and they go kind of scene by scene and what happened to the video game, what bits they liked, which bits they didn't like, and so on and so forth. And it's really, really good listen. So highly recommend you check that out too. Once again, that's called Clickerbait.
Clickerbait. I understand.
Because the enemy.
I do get that. Yeah. Sorry, I'm fascinated.
I know you. Yeah. Hey, Amy's gone all Vulcan whenever you hear her say fascinating.
No. I am listening. I'm fascinated by this.
No.
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
This is crazy. Like, there are people trying to start a discourse. Some of the usual suspects. Oh, don't play. No. A lot of reaction, like, content of people like looking extremely upset and or shocked in the thumbnails.
Yes.
And like, strange.
I know that I put stuff up on YouTube, like obviously with Pixel Pop Stars and stuff like that, I'm so glad I don't conform might not be the right word to use, but I don't like adopt the strategies to get the best algorithm for a thumbnail where you got to put your reaction face. It's got to be shocked,
man. I
and
can't do it.
yeah,
Like,
can't bring myself to do it.
no, I refuse. Like, it's so stupid, and I get why like people do it, but like because it's how the algorithm works. But like I was watching someone once, right, and they did they did like a reaction stream to like some press conference or another, and maybe it was an Xbox showcase or something. It was years ago, and like they then like they finished the thing up. They were chatting. They were like, "Yeah, I'll put this on YouTube and stuff." And then he started taking like these selfies. I shit you not, for the thumbnail where he was doing all of the faces, and I was like, "What are we doing here, man? Take at least overreact in the video and take the screenshot from the video. Don't like start taking these random fucking selfies." And then like, but now I can't unsee it. Like
how the sausage is made.
When I scroll through YouTube and stuff and I see it and I'm like, well, that looks like it was faked, because it was.
100%.
It's like a level stupider than I thought it was.
Now I accept that. Some people they're more attracted by visuals rather than words and whatnot. But I have to be blessed with the gift of reading. So if you have a description or a title of your video that says, whatever the content I'm looking for, then that's what I need to get
in. Maybe the world would be better if more people read books. I don't usually get on my high horse about much, but I'm going to get on my high horse about this one. Read books, you idiots. But yeah, no, that was an interesting segue, because you hit one of my trigger points for just like, it really annoys me. But yeah, no, there doesn't seem to be a massive like discourse happening on YouTube. That maybe there is on Twitter, because Twitter is full of Nazis and people who hate everything. But actually, why don't I just search The Last of Us on Bluesky and see what happens?
Yeah, 100%.
Is this TV show? Are you watching part 2? Is this making you want to play the game again?
Yes, very much so.
I was hoping for a longer.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, you want me to vamp while you're?
I wanted you to vamp for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. So it gets you back into that mind space of being in that world and
okay, I'm going to stop that.
Okay. But yeah, it gets you into that mind space of being in that world with characters who you've grown to love. And you think back to some of the incredible performances of your Troy Bakers and your Ashley Johnson. And I will say, this is a ever so slight spoiler. At the very end of the second episode, you get a song sung by Ashley Johnson, which she sung for the video game. And they put this over the credits. And
is it the song, like the...
Oh, no, this is Through the Valley. It's not. No. But I've always loved Ashley singing. And yeah, it's special to get that. And it's one of these things where I don't think a TV audience viewer, and this isn't necessarily to demean them, they wouldn't necessarily pick up that the person singing these vocals is the person who did the voice acting, even though they had a cameo in the first season as Ellie's mother. I don't think they'd necessarily put all that together, but yeah.
That's fair.
Ashley Johnson's amazing, but yeah, it puts me in that mind space of wanting to be back in that world. But you do need to steel yourself to say, "Oh, Last of Us is heavy subject material."
Sure. Yeah.
None of that is light. Even in the first game, you think about the experiences with David.
Huh? Yeah. Sam and
Sam and Henry. Yeah.
And David and yep.
And going through and finding Ishmael's story and finding all of his notes and
in the underground bit.
Yeah.
And the first 20 minutes.
None of that. Yeah, none of it is light. So
no. I mean, I love a good it's great storytelling for me though. Like that that first game. Like So it's like it's weirdly enjoyable where it's like it sucks because bad things constantly happen, but also like it's just really compelling storytelling.
Yes.
The thing that made me stop scrolling after 6 Bluesky tweets was not what you think it was. It was an AI generated image of 2 characters from The Last of Us.
Okay. Yes.
With more proportions than they have in the video game, and I just
Were they augmented?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Okay.
Okay. Someone augmented their pre-order for sure. And I was just like, I'm gonna have to watch the podcast back because I want to see the look on my face when I go through it. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Don't worry, chat. She won't use that reaction face as a thumbnail for this podcast. Don't worry about it.
At least it would be from the podcast.
This is true.
People are going to think I'm reacting to the golfing incident in the episode and not just some fucking weirdo's AI generated image I found on Bluesky. Which, come on, it should be better than that on Bluesky.
Yeah.
What you do?
We don't need AI.
We don't need Twitter to Electric Boogaloo.
Absolutely.
So I think we should take a halftime break so I can go and wash my eyes out with bleach.
Yes.
But we'll do a quick indie game of the week before I go completely blind.
Sure.
That's Moody's time to shine. I have gone too far. We are going to do an indie game of the week. This is the thing we do every week where we talk about a cool looking upcoming indie game that we think looks cool and we think you should wishlist. If you like indie games, scroll on down to the description wherever you're choosing to listen to and or watch this podcast. We've got a Steam Curator page link. Click that link. It's got a list of all of the games that we've made indie game of the week, which is well over 100 games at this point. So we've been doing this for a while. Indie game discoverability is right here. Once a week, every week, except for the weeks where we don't do it.
Yes.
If you like indie games, click that link. Maybe have a scroll through. Maybe you'll find one of your new favorite games. Just saying, the highest rated game of 2025 was an indie game of the week. Just saying.
You just brush your shoulder off one time.
We've got good taste. This week's indie game of the week is called Neo Junk City, where the neon lights never fade and the city's underbelly thrives. Set in the dystopian Drowned City, this immersive cyberpunk adventure puts a fresh spin on the point-and-click genre. You'll journey through a half-sunken metropolis as you investigate murders, race through dangerous streets, and shoot your way through hordes of robots, psychopaths, and cybernetic monsters. And then it's got bullet points. I always appreciate bullet points on a Steam page because they're perfect for reading out on a podcast. This game has an engaging storyline. As Buster 09 navigate the Drowned City to solve a murder, the only catch, you already know you did it. You just can't remember why.
Dun, dun.
A dynamic interaction system utilize context-sensitive interaction blocks that evolve based on your exploration and relationships, offering a fresh take on traditional point-and-click mechanics. The game also features, and I'm just going to speed run through these last bullet points, arcade-style racing sequences, fast-paced shootout action, stunning pixel art, and an evolving world. There's a link for this game in the description wherever you're listening to and or watching this podcast. Click it now. You clicked it? You haven't clicked it yet, have you? Click it or I'll do the face again.
I sure have. The art style is indeed stunning, and the arcade style racing sequences has you driving a machine that looks very much like a DMC DeLorean. So if you're into that vibe, then yes.
It's like the arcade driving sequences are like they mean it. This looks like outrun shit, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, this is Lotus Turbo Challenge 2 and you're just picking between 3 lanes.
Yeah.
There is a demo available now as well, so not only can you add it to your wish list, you can download the demo.
Hell yeah. Do that. Download the demo. You're doing it. I will make the face again. Don't make me make the face again. I'll just pick my phone up because I don't think I could navigate it away from the image. I just locked my phone and threw it on my desk.
Just throw your phone out the window. It's time for a new phone.
You know what? It's time for an upgrade. This phone is cursed. I need to burn a Bluesky account, I think.
There you go.
Yeah, that's going to do it for the first half of the podcast. We've had fun, I think. We've had fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had fun. But we'll be back. We'll be talking about more fun, cool, interesting stuff. She scrolls up to make sure we are actually talking about fun stuff. Yeah, we are talking about fun stuff. Okay, we'll see y'all in a minute. Or 30
Peace.
seconds or 40 seconds. I can't remember how long it is. Bye.
What's good, everyone? I'm Vitz Patel. Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, let's go.
It's time for Pixel Pop Star, the video game and pop culture game show. Life is platformers beyond. Enter your state of flow.
Catch Season 2 of Pixel Pop Stars on Twitch and YouTube at Vitz Patel.
And we are back.
Yeah.
How's it doing? How's it going?
Yeah, Pixel Pop Stars, for those who you just heard, 3rd of May, that kicks off. The day before our very first milestone stream for Safe in Our World here at Words About Games on twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames. We'll be ranking all the characters from Mass Effect, and it's going to be great. Yeah.
Updated ranking system. It's going to be less contentious. It's going to be shorter.
Yes.
Than the last time we tried to rank stuff on Twitch. And Vitz has now seen the ranking system because I had to make sure it worked. So I sent them the link.
No, 100%.
I've got my notes of who everyone is.
Saturday, May 3rd for Pixel Pop Stars, and then Sunday, May 4th.
Sunday.
I believe is a Star Wars thingy, but we're doing Mass Effect.
We're doing Mass Effect. All right.
Yes.
Look, Mass Effect is basically Star Wars with guns, okay?
It's better Star Wars.
Like, there's my hot take.
Yeah.
for the episode. Like, it's just Star Wars, but with a gun instead of a lightsaber. What was I doing? Oh, yeah, a podcast.
Yes.
Hello. Hiya.
Sorry, during the break, Amy and I were having a very cathartic conversation.
We were having a very
we released
cathartic
lots of tension.
Yes, some tension was released. And I didn't throw my phone out the window. I thought about it. But no, so what else could we possibly be talking about this week, Fitz? Well, I can answer that one for you, Amy. Last week, totally on a whim, because I happened upon a magazine in the Video Game History Foundation. Video Game Foundation, VGHF? Video Game History Foundation, I think.
Yes.
Digital library, where we went through Game Informer's top 10 games of 2002. Well, wouldn't you know it, I've still been looking through the Video Game History Foundation, and I found another issue of Game Informer that I think has a list that we can talk about. Maybe this is just going to be a bit until Moody gets back. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, Game Informer's 15 titles of the 1990s that forever changed video games. This is a list of games. There are associated words to justify picks. This was written for the January 2000 issue of Game Informer.
Wow.
So this isn't like, because you see these kinds of these lists floating around like YouTube and the blogosphere and whatever all the time of like the games in the 90s that changed gaming, but they're always written like 20 years later.
Yes.
This was written like the 90s were over, Y2K didn't happen, the apocalypse did not unfold. Now we're going to talk about video games. So this is like hot. Like, this is a hot topic.
Yeah. We just got through Y2K. We're going to be on alert for what the Mayans were talking about. 2012 is going to be real bad. So we've got like 12 good years. Yeah.
But no, this is Game Informer. I'll read the introduction.
Yeah, give me the intro. Give me the intro.
With the approach of the new millennium, almost everyone in the media is busy formulating a list of history's most important innovations from the last 100 or even 1,000 years. Convinced that the apocalypse is imminent, we at Game Informer also wanted to get in one more list before mankind became the alien archaeology of the future. Unfortunately, video games haven't even been around for 30 years yet. We figured nobody would want to read a paragraph, no matter how well it was written, about the abacus in a 1,000-year video game history lesson. Nor would anyone want to hear yet again what landmarks Pong and Pac-Man were. We wanted to keep things somewhat current while keeping an eye to the future just in case we are still here come the year 2000. Presented in chronological order over the next few pages are 15 games released in the last decade that set the industry on its ear. Whether through innovation, originality, or controversy, all these games changed the current pool of video games, and their ripples will still be seen in the games of the 10 years yet to come.
Hey.
How are you feeling, Vitz?
I've got some immediate titles that spring to mind. I'm not sure if you want me to run through them, or is that going to be spoilers for the list potentially?
Why not? You don't know if it's going to be spoilers for the list. You've not
I
seen
don't know if it's going to be spoilers. So one of them's going to be Mortal Kombat for ESRB. One of them ought to be Street Fighter 2. Doom has to be number 1.
So this isn't an ordered list. This is a chronological list. So
sorry. Yeah. If it was to be ordered, I think Doom would have to be number 1 for what it set off. Half-Life is probably up there. I'm not sure how many first-person shooters are going to be up there. So, like, I'm not sure. Like, Quake makes a list. For some reason, people think the first the Grand Theft Auto game is the most influential game of all time, so maybe that'll be up on here as well.
This is going to be an interesting contrast to the BAFTA list that we just talked about.
Yes. But yeah, let's get into this.
I'm looking forward to how you feel. I wanted to know how you were feeling going into this.
Link to the Past, good, yeah. Was that 90s?
No. Link to the Past. Release date. It was. Why did I think it wasn't? What was I thinking of?
I know, but yeah. So like Final Fantasy VII, Ocarina of Time, those titles are going to be on here too. Gran Turismo. Let's get into it.
So I'll do one at a time. I'll stop and then you can pipe in with your. So in chronological order, it's a magazine, so the layout's a bit weird. So if I get the chronological order wrong, it's just because I'm just going down a page.
Yeah, that's fine.
Boxes. But the first one here that I can see is Super Mario Kart. First released for Super Nintendo by Nintendo. Not only was it a blast to play, Super Mario Kart was also quite unique as it brought the vehicular combat model to the home console. Always in split screen, the game encouraged players to use more than a lead foot to win in the various tracks and battle arenas. It also showed that realism is not a necessary ingredient in the racing formula. The Twisted Metal series, Crash Team Racing, any Car Wars game with power-ups, and even a lot of 4-player racing games pay homage to the Mario Kart series.
I can see that. As we discovered in the Science Museum, we played the original Super Mario Kart, is something to do with the scrolling in that game, of how the kind of locomotion works with the frequency of the details of the track. Makes my stomach go well. I cannot.
One of the funny things we learned in that history museum session where we played a bunch of games was the newer the racing game, the more likely it was that Vitz would win.
Yes.
But the older the racing game, like I smoked you on Mario Kart, the old Mario Kart. We didn't play.
I couldn't do it. I was falling off the track. I was doing all sorts.
So Super Mario Kart was the first one. I'm like, yeah, that's fair. Like I could see that.
Yeah.
The next one, John Madden Football, first released for Genesis by Electronic Arts. This game, along with another sports title in this list,
NHL 94,
is probably responsible for putting the Sega Genesis on the map. More importantly, John Madden Football, especially Madden 93, completely defined how the pigskin would be tossed about on home consoles ever after. Playing Madden feels like playing football. So much so that the control of all NFL titles today are in some shape or form a derivative of Madden. EA often wasn't the first to come up with new features, but it was usually the one to perfect them. Only recently have titles like Game Day and NFL 2K stolen a little thunder from Madden, but the chubby one still reigns supreme as the innovator of the gridiron scene.
Like a body shaming John Madden.
A little rhyme at the end there.
But
Yeah, John Madden
but
football. Yeah.
EA Sports
It's in the
in the
game.
game.
But yeah, no, a little bit of foreshadowing sprinkled in there as well. I don't know. I don't play football games, American football games, or British football games, to be honest.
I played, I think NFL 04, maybe, when I was at university with my housemates at the time. But yeah, outside of that, no, I haven't touched an American football game. Or indeed a FIFA game.
Yeah, no, I played FIFA games throughout the years, but only because like other people wanted to play them, if that makes sense. You know, when before like we all could play video games online, like free.
Yeah, it was a group activity.
It was like, oh, we're playing FIFA, cool, I guess. Or the other one, the Konami one, before they completely ruined it.
Pro Evolution Soccer.
Yeah, that was popular for a while as well. But yeah, no, like sports games, yes. I play sports games that I like. I don't necessarily. I like American football, but not enough to like push the buttons on the controller. Anyway, next up, Doom, first released for PC by id Software. The story, laughable. The realism, non-existent. The carnage, unforgettable. id Software created the fluid first-person shooter with Wolfenstein 3D, but perfected the design with Doom. The smooth animation, the texturing, and even the controls were the catalyst for a three-dimensional gaming revolution. Almost every first-person action or adventure game owes at least some thanks to Doom. But for all things good, there must also be some bad. Let's not forget the amount of negative press Doom has brought upon the world of video games. When it first released, social watchdogs were quick to attack its high gore level. When the game was ported to PlayStation and Saturn, the debates started up again. It was even blamed for a school massacre many years after its prime. What Doom illustrated to the world is that controversy sells, as its 15 million copies sold worldwide attests. That is a staggering number for the 1990s.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but we're all Satanists, and it's all thanks to Doom.
Yeah, sure. Like I played Doom on a grand piano.
Yeah.
That's my total history with the original Doom game.
I remember. I think I definitely played more Quake than I played Doom. I remember playing Doom 3 on my laptop again during university, and it was so scary. I stopped playing it. I was like, nope, I don't want nothing to do with this no more.
Doom 3 is a weird one because like it's so different to like every other Doom game.
Yeah,
but I'm a Doom 3 defender. Like I thought it was a really good game.
I'm sure it was. It was too scary for me.
No, sure. Like they go full on into the horror. It's like you have to choose between. Oh, when the game first came out, you had to choose between having your torch out or holding a gun, and that was just like arbitrary as fuck, but also like damn. Hardcore, right? It's like, do you want to be safe or do you want to be able to see?
I think there's probably more influential titles from the 90s. That's why I cited like Mortal Kombat for ESRB reasons and stuff like that. But I'm sure we won't get to those.
Sure. I am actually reading these out of order, so I'm going to change the order that I'm reading them in and apparently turn the page. Nope, go back. Thank you. It's a digitally scanned magazine. That was cool, though. Yeah. It has like an animated like page turning animation. That was cool. So the next game, NHL Hockey, first released for Genesis by Electronic Arts. If you or a friend had a Genesis, you played this game. If there was nothing on TV, you played this game. If you hated hockey, you played this game. NHL Hockey's control is so intuitive, it hasn't gone under any major changes since inception. You could literally pick up a new version 5 years down the road and still know how to play it. The game was often the only game people would buy for their Genesis, helping Sega make a name for itself and pushing Electronic Arts sales into the billions. NHL Hockey also woke up many to the fact that a well-balanced multiplayer game will draw a crowd no matter the subject.
100%. NHL 94 was the ice hockey game, and the controls have remained the same ever since.
I mean, they haven't, but even the modern NHL games like have an option to just turn on NHL 94 controls.
Yes.
Yep. Like it's got all this stuff with like using the sticks to like control your stick and stuff, and but like I don't use those. I don't use the NHL 94 controls either. There's like a middle ground.
There's like a hybrid, right?
Yeah. But like you can just play it with the two buttons. Like like you could back in the 94 days. And like NHL 94 is an iconic video game.
100%.
And also, I am an ice hockey fan. This is the sports game I was alluding to, where it's like, I play games of sports I like. I fucking love playing hockey games.
That's why I cited NHL 94 before, because I know it's reverence. Yeah.
Like, even I had it. Like, as a person who grew up in, like, northern England, we didn't get the NHL over here, surprisingly enough. Nope. But even I had NHL 94 for my Sega Mega Drive. Like, that's how iconic that game was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's probably what kickstarted that, and the Mighty Ducks is probably what kickstarted me, like,
yes.
to actually like liking ice hockey. Even though, like, as a kid, loved the Mighty Ducks, very great films. As an adult,
Goldberg.
As an adult, still entertaining films. Right up until the part where they start playing ice hockey, and you realize how much bullshit the ice hockey sections actually are. If you actually know
100%.
how ice hockey works.
My favorite bit is that obviously Bombay comes up. And the kids are out here on the lake, and they're just messing around. So what does he do? Has his very heavy limo drive onto the ice, endangering all these kids.
I mean, I wasn't
even number one.
I wasn't even necessarily talking about that stuff. It's just like, when like they play the villain team in any of these movies, and like it's just
Remember
like
Iceland in the second one.
Yeah, it's just like constant penalties. It's just like, they're getting battered around a bit and stuff, and it's just like, well, that's a penalty, well, and that's a penalty, and that's a penalty. It's just like these.
That's why you need the Bash Brothers.
They're cheating constantly. It's like, this isn't how ice hockey works.
Can I ask? It may be a question that you say no to. Have you seen Mighty Ducks Game Changers?
The TV show? No, I haven't gone around to it yet.
It is the first season made me cry on multiple occasions. It is that good. The second season, you don't have to watch that one.
There was multiple seasons.
They bring back original cast members. It's very much a legacy sequel. Mm-hmm. But I didn't realize how important Mighty Ducks was to me until I watched this show. But yeah. It's got characters from Gilmore Girls in it, it's got actors, sorry, not characters. It is so special, that first season. Yeah.
Huh, maybe I will give that a watch, because I love the Mighty Ducks films. Even the third one. I like the third one.
Eden Hall Ducks. It was so cool when they unveiled the logo at the end.
It's always cool. And when the guy turns up for the last period, and he's just like, it's like, let's fucking go. And then they start beating the shit out of them. And it's like, yes, violence. Maybe this is why it's my favorite sport. Anyway, I think we were supposed to be talking about video games, right?
And NHL 94, that was it.
The next game, Street Fighter 2, first release for arcades by Capcom.
Let's go.
Here it is. Out of all the games we talk about in this article, this is the most influential of them all. Side note, before I continue reading the podcast, was Street Fighter 2 in the BAFTA list?
No.
Fascinating.
I mentioned that it ought to be, but I don't think it was, no.
Shortly after the release of Street Fighter 2, it seemed that every game coming out for the arcade and the home was a fighting game. Street Fighter 2 introduced a new level of player interaction to gaming, caused the demise of the 2 and 3 button controller, stirred video game violence issues with the media, brought about the birth of the secret moves list, revitalized the arcade and home console scene, and sucked away more money than the interest on the national deficit. Damn, we're getting political out in here.
Yeah.
Game Informer's woke. Suddenly, fighting games dominated the arcades, rendering most genres, save for racing and shooting games, obsolete. Do you miss the classic arcade days of the 80s? Blame it all on Ken and Ryu.
Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior. It's up there. One of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah, there's a screenshot from the game where Ryu's doing some kind of special move. I don't know what that's called.
I mean, some say everybody knows what the special move.
Yeah, I don't know. They can't be that popular. But yeah, no, Street Fighter 2, obviously, like, I totally, like, because I'm not a fighting game fan, it totally, like, skipped my mind when we were going through the BAFTAs list. But yeah, like, Street Fighter 2 is easily one of the most influential games of all time.
100%.
And I'm annoyed with the fact that it took me reading a magazine from the year 2000 to remember that.
Even from like a video game music perspective with Yoko Shimura and what she did for all of the arrangements for that game. It's incredible.
So, that was 1991, and then
Yep.
the next two should have been Super Mario Kart and Doom, 92 and 93.
Okay.
So we're gonna fast forward to 1994.
Okay.
Night Trap, first released for Sega CD by Digital Pictures.
Fucking Night Trap.
You don't know what Night Trap is? Oh,
Well, I'm looking it up.
There's a stream in our future of it because they re-released this from modern platforms.
There's a 25th anniversary edition.
Yeah. Do not for a
Night Trap
minute
tells-
think that because this is on our hallowed list that it's a great game. To be blunt, it absolutely sucks. Want proof? Dana Plato is the main character. Way back when CD-ROM technology was first being introduced to consumers, developers were convinced that digital interactive movies were going to be the wave of the future. How wrong they were. Games like Night Trap proved once and for all that game players move the industry and not vice versa. Along with Mortal Kombat, Night Trap also carries the distinction of being one of the games shown to Congress as an example of why the Entertainment Software Rating Board was necessary.
Hell yes. From Different Strokes, right? Dana Plato.
Yeah. I almost don't want to ruin Night Trap for you. I think you should find a video of, not necessarily a playthrough of Night Trap. In fact, I'm sure Magellan made a video about it. I'll link it to you. The experience of like learning about Night Trap, what it is, but also what like Congress said about it versus what's actually true. It's so good. Like, it's a terrible video game. It's one of the worst video games of all time. And barely anyone played it because it was on Sega CD. Which was the thing that you bought to plug in your Mega Drive, like the attachment thing.
Yeah, the Tower of Power. I remember.
yeah. But they re-released it for the 25th anniversary. It's like, I could do a stream of it.
It's £11 on Steam at the moment.
In fact, I will do a stream of it. How about that? I will make this promise to you, Vitz. One Sunday, I will get a hold of Night Trap and I will do a stream of Night Trap. And we can all have fun together.
The only thing I heard that Dana Plato did after Different Strokes was she moved into adult entertainment.
Oh, really?
So that's why Night Trap was a complete blind spot for me. I was like, okay, that's what you want. That's what we're into. More power to her.
But yeah, no, Night Trap. It was like the game at the ESRB. Like Mortal Kombat being Mortal Kombat was like the one people remember from the Congress hearings.
Right, yeah.
But like Night Trap was like the game from the Congress hearings because it was an FMV game.
Nice.
So
it's real life.
All of the women in it are like real women. Like
yeah.
But and like all of the violence and stuff that happens in the game, it's like it's directed at real women. Like it was the game from the congressional hearings.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Very funny though. So we'll skip forward to 1995 now to talk about Command and Conquer, first released for PC by Westwood Studios. Real-time strategy games had existed for some time before the arrival of Command and Conquer. Herzog Zwei on Sega Genesis was already 6 years old by the time CNC hit shelves. And interestingly, Westwood preempted themselves with Dune 2, The Building of a Dynasty, the game from which CNC was directly derived. However, as its name promised, Command & Conquer quickly took over the personal computer landscape, nearly becoming synonymous with the genre it represents. After many high-quality and best-selling sequels and ports for every gaming platform under the Tiberian sun, CNC has become the most popular two-player war game since chess, proving that real-time games are both possible and popular. Westwood has probably caused many a designer to rethink their game's modus operandi. Multiplayer has lately become the catchphrase of many recently announced console titles, and they owe all respect to Command and Conquer.
Fair enough.
Command and Conquer. I have that game on PlayStation. It's got a banging soundtrack. And a and a batshit story, even the first game. And again, it's an FMV game. It's like you play the thing, and then like all of the story bits that happen in between, like a guy sitting on either a set or a green screen on a webcam, basically.
Yeah, because FMV was easy to produce back then, rather than doing like
and we all had CDs.
Cutscenes.
Yeah, like it was all on CDs, so you could do that shit. But yeah, no, it was cool. You know what I've always wanted to do? As like a a passion project. I don't know if it would lead anywhere because I've only ever played a couple of Command and Conquer games, but like a story analysis, a plot analysis of the whole series. I'm just like, is this story really like, is it actually good? And we're all just missing out on it because it's got Tim Curry's performance in Red Alert 3.
It's wild.
Yeah, but is the story actually good? Or like, I remember the opening cutscene of Command and Conquer Red Alert, where Einstein figures out how to travel back in time, and he travels back in time, and he meets Hitler, and he shakes his hand, and it like erases Hitler from history, and that's how Red Alert 3, Red Alert like happens, and like that was the opening cutscene.
I mean, Einstein could have done a lot of favors, a lot of favors if he did that for real.
I definitely need to play these games for the plot at some point.
Yes.
All right, we are in 1996.
Yeah, Spice Girls era. Let's go.
This was a big year for video games. We got 3 video games from 1996. The first one, Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
First released for Nintendo 64 by Nintendo. Where to begin? As the flagship title for the Nintendo 64 launch in the States, Mario 64 dropped jaws across the nation as people marveled at the first fully three-dimensional platformer. After seeing the game in action, it was clear that 2D side scrollers were no longer enough. Legions of platformers in the Mario 64 vein followed. Perhaps most amazing of all, it was on a cartridge. Critics were skeptical, to say the least, when word spread that Nintendo would continue to use this outdated format. It's debatable whether this decision hurt it in the long run, not in 2025, but Super Mario 64 shut everyone up for a long while and kept Nintendo in the game. Heck, the Nintendo 64 was even Time's 1996 Machine of the Year.
I'm not sure what other competition it was up against for Machine of the Year.
I don't know,
1996.
The Pocket Calculator.
I'm sure there was some PDA or something. Like you can't argue that it changed video games forever. I know there was when the BAFTA team spoke about this, there were 3D platformers before this game, but this was the breakout success. So that was my kind of, 100%.
Yeah, on Mario 64. Yeah, it's foundational, right? Like the fact that as soon as I said 1996, you were like Super Mario 64, obviously. Makes perfect sense. But now we're in Amy's territory.
Let's go.
Resident Evil, first release for PlayStation by Capcom. It's on our cover, and it's in this list. Fix. Not so fast, friends. Resident Evil did what many of the 3DO, CDI, and other early CD-ROM titles tried, but failed to accomplish. It created a movie-like atmosphere, and it did it with nary a digital video image. By taking an average action game idea and adding cutscenes, voiceovers, resource management, and fixed camera angles, Capcom created something a little more frightening than your standard zombie shoot-'em-up. After 2 sequels and 1 spin-off, the series still feels as fresh as ever. With DVD looking to be the next gaming medium, let's hope its extra capabilities are utilized to make more Resident Evils and less Dragon's Lairs.
I mean,
shots fired on Dragon's Lair for no reason, but okay, sure. I mean,
but yeah, those were the heady days before RE4, and
we only had 2 sequels and a spin-off so far. Yeah, this article.
That's wild.
Yeah, right. Like 1, 2, 3, and Code Veronica.
You look at that snapshot in time. Yeah.
I especially like the series still feels as fresh as ever. Boy, was that opinion about a change, like right on the turn of the millennium.
And then, how many reboots did the series go through?
And then there was some issues, but now here we are, like 30 games, 4 movies, 2 manga series, a whole live action movie adaptation that we don't talk about, books, fucking and
a new Netflix series coming.
Like it was a whole thing. But Resident Evil, like 100%, like is an influential game of all time. We're still in 96 with Tomb Raider, first release for PlayStation by Eidos Interactive. Would Tomb Raider have been the same game with a male lead character? Yes. Would it have sold as well? Not a chance.
No.
Tomb Raider took Prince of Persia's concept and translated it into a lush 3D world. The game stressed exploration and wasn't afraid to confuse and frustrate its players. A great game to be sure, but a game that soon became dwarfed by its protagonist, Lara Croft. Lara soon became the first queen of the internet, with her image being downloaded onto the PC screens of homes and office cubicles worldwide. More people recognize the name Lara Croft than they do the series she represents, illustrating that iconography and character development can be just as important to marketing as gameplay.
Those pyramid boobs did a lot back in the day.
They were sharp and they were dangerous.
Yeah. More deadly than the guns.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, like I talked about this when we did the BAFTA list a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's like Tomb Raider was like another foundational game for 3D. Like, doesn't all have to be Mario.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like Mario pushed the 3D envelope forward in a platforming sense, and Tomb Raider pushed the 3D envelope forward in like an adventure game sense, where it's like, doesn't all have to be
definitely.
about necessarily just the platforming, you know, they can be the combat, the puzzles, everything else. Like the three games that I just mentioned, all from 96, are three great picks for sort of like, here's a blueprint for 3D gaming.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Can I just say, like, yeah, and I know this list it's just 1990s and it doesn't cover like anything that came out after it. I like this list more than the BAFTAs list.
100%. Me too.
Yeah.
It hasn't got 62 Grand Theft Auto games on there.
Yeah.
And Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Yeah, we've passed Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto is not on this list.
Yeah.
There's a close but not quite section, a short section at the end that I'll read as well, which also doesn't have any Grand Theft Auto on it. I'm just going to throw that out there. But we're in 1997. I think you probably know the next game I'm going to say.
It's Final Fantasy VII.
It's Final Fantasy VII, first released for the PlayStation by Squaresoft. Argue all you like over which Final Fantasy has the better story, game mechanics, and characters, but there's no denying that the seventh in the series broke the mold and recast it in its own image. The game flowed seamlessly from in-game action to cutscenes to FMV, creating the feeling that you were playing something more than an RPG. You were taking part in a movie, or maybe a work of art. FF7 also revitalized the role-playing game market in North America. In the States, the previous bestseller in the category was Super Mario RPG with 750,000 units. Final Fantasy VII easily trounced that record, creating enough interest in this country to bring RPGs back to prominence. Square also set a precedent by spending an ungodly amount of cash on its game, something that we will definitely see more of as console systems continue to become more popular.
Well, they were right in that
They
sense.
were right about a lot of things in that paragraph. And this is just a shout out. So, when we did our BAFTA list a couple of weeks ago, you mentioned to me, and I've kept this to myself for a couple of weeks, not necessarily to deploy it in a gotcha moment, but you know, that another YouTube channel was making a shit list video where they were going to go through it, and I was on a bus when this video was live, and I thought, you know what, why not? I'll watch this, and I watched it through gritted teeth. Right up until the moment Final Fantasy VII came up, and one of the people on this panel was just like, Final Fantasy VII, most influential game? Nah, I don't see it. And then I hit pause because my phone was about to get launched across a bus.
Yep.
Here it is in the 2000s edition of Game Informer, Final Fantasy VII. Obviously one of the most influential games of all time. I was holding on to my anger about that for a couple of weeks there. I was like, how dare you, sir? I will fight you. But you're going to have to fly here because I don't have the air miles, and also I'll probably get put in a concentration camp if I fly to America. But anyway, Final Fantasy VII, yeah, great game.
100%.
Fucking hell. We're still in 97.
Okay.
For the next game. For GoldenEye 007, first released for the Nintendo 64 by Rare. 2 years after its initial release, GoldenEye 007 is still a best-selling title for the Nintendo 64, and there's good reason for that. Rare took what should have been a quickly made licensed game and redefined the first-person shooter. GoldenEye gave purpose to a genre that had formerly been all about mindless slaying. Interactivity, hit locations, stealth, storyline, multiplayer modes, and the sniper scope are just a few of the things that GoldenEye has permanently added to the lexicon of the broad guy with a gun category. Rare also showed that any game is worth doing right, and that there are great rewards to be reaped for doing so. I guess this was like the first licensed game that did suck ass.
Yeah, probably.
Which isn't like the takeaway of GoldenEye. Like, there was a lot to it, but like, yeah.
Yeah, like outside of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle arcade titles and stuff like that. Yeah, this was probably one of the first ones which didn't suck ass, and it wasn't like an Aladdin or Lion King that was purely designed to take your money rather than.
Yeah, it wasn't like they could have just made a GoldenEye game like to bank on the popularity of the movie.
Yes,
like quickly, cheaply turn it around, make money, and instead they did actually like put a lot of effort into making the game. I'm surprised like how many things. According to this Game Informer article, I'm surprised how many things this game seemed to like pioneer. Like sniper scopes. I had no idea like that wasn't a thing. Like I know they're in the game because I played the game. And like hit locations. Which is definitely a thing. Like it tells you at the end of each level like how many times you shot someone in the arm or the head or whatever. Like that's kind of cool. Like
definitely, and that UI is iconic with the two.
Watch.
Yeah.
And you've got the health thing. Yeah. And the music, the pause menu music, goes way harder than it ever had any right to. All right,
hell, the theme song to the movie went as harder than needed. Tina Turner turned up for that one.
They really did. All right, we're going to 1998. I got 2 games from 1998.
Is Half-Life one of them?
No.
1998.
Would you like me to read the first one?
Yes, please.
Can't believe you're drawing a blank. Gran Turismo, first released for PlayStation by Sony Computer Entertainment Interactive. There's no denying that Gran Turismo owes its existence to Ridge Racer, which defined the 3D racing experience in today's consoles. Gran Turismo, however, took every feature from the racers before it, extrapolated them to the nth degree, and created racing's future. With a daunting amount of licensed vehicles, a staggering number of upgrades, difficult licensing exams, and a high level of player interactivity, GT raised the bar so high that developers of other races were left dumbfounded. Gran Turismo became the model to which all other races are compared, and after a year and a half, the only real competition in sight seems to be its own sequel. Racing games are the perfect way for a new system to show off its high processing power, and all of these games to come will most certainly be looking to topple the towering standard Gran Turismo has built. A driving game that could even come close to doing this is nearly inconceivable. It's still true in 2025, I think.
Yes.
Like, no one's knocked them over yet.
It's still the flagship thing. You want to show off your system, you put a racing game on there.
I like being vindicated in a magazine that was written like 25 years ago. Like, this is what I say now. Maybe I am smart. Oh, wow. Should I join Mensa? No. But yeah, no, like Gran Turismo, like you said it, and I kept my poker face because I didn't want to. I didn't want to like spoil the surprise. I can't believe you didn't get it when I was like 1998.
Yeah, like to be fair, like GT3 was my first Gran Turismo title, because I didn't play games in between getting a Sega Mega Drive and my PlayStation 2 in 2003.
Yeah, I was about
to say. So there was a large gap where I didn't pay anything. Yeah. But no, 100%. GT's up there.
Gran Turismo 1 is the only one I've played, apart from when I was visiting you last year and you were playing GT7 and you dropped the controller, and went, here you go. And I was like, oh. This one's the only one I actually played. A lot of fun. I'm getting like nostalgia just looking at the screenshot. I can even remember that track. We're still in 1998. Pokemon, first released for Game Boy by Nintendo. Like it or lump it, Pokemon took over the video game world faster than you can say Pika Pika. Is it a fluke? Is it a fad? Maybe, but its success relies on a feature that we'll be seeing loads of in the coming millennium: collectability. If not for this, Pokemon probably would have been passed over as an overly simplistic RPG. Cleverly allowing you to see the gaps in your pocket monster set, the game soon becomes an obsession. The game's success is also a bit of a surprise, considering it went in the exact opposite direction that video games were going. Instead of ultra-violent, it's ultra-cute. Pokemon has made comic books and baseball cards passé for a generation of kids, and that's a pretty powerful statement.
I mean, yeah.
I also just want to point out for Moody that the screenshot has a Bulbasaur in it.
Oh, he does love a Bulbasaur. This is fact. Pokemon's up there. It's interesting to see, is this a fad? Maybe.
Is this a fad? Maybe it is. I can answer that. No.
Yes.
There's Pokemon.
So I guess I consider Pokemon to come out in '96 because of Japan and with the whole anniversary stuff they were doing, and how next year is like a really big anniversary for Pokemon. So that's probably why I got confused. But 100%. I think by that point, maybe only Red and Blue come out, or maybe
the first Pokemon. I'm guessing it was just the first Pokemon game. Because they don't seem to mention like any follow-ups.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like it's funny when I saw Pokemon was on this list. That like 2 weeks ago when we were doing the BAFTA list, we did debate with ourselves. It was like, because Pokemon wasn't on the BAFTA list, and we did debate with ourselves. It's like, was Pokemon influential? Like, did it influence anything? And it's like, here it is 2 weeks later. Like, in the 1999, it was considered influential. So I do find that quite fascinating. But we've come to the end of the list, Vitz. One game
99
from 1999.
Give me the first letter of it.
E.
E.
I've given you an E.
I'm drawing a blank. You're going to have to give it to me.
I don't think you're going to get it.
Yep.
The last game on this list from 1999, EverQuest, first released for PC by 989 Studios.
Was not getting to that.
Yeah. Ultima Online was first, but let's face it, the game was drop dead boring. A fact its subscribers quickly discovered once the thrill of saying "nice helmet" to a stranger wore off. EverQuest addressed many of the complaints you all received, combining the thrill of mass interaction with a multi-perspective engine that not only entertained, but addicted, earning it the commonly used nickname Evercrack. If there is one title that points to the future of gaming, EverQuest is it. The 150,000 active subscribers prove that people love the massively multiplayer experience. The $10 its developer collects every month from each player, not to mention the outrageous eBay deals going on, is causing the industry to drool all over itself. With all future console systems being internet capable, expect EverQuest to be the model for many games yet to come. And boy, did we pay for it.
Yeah.
That's quite an interesting sentence to read, like a paragraph to read in 2025, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, because I guess WoW wasn't until, 2004?
WoW was 2004, yeah, it was well after EverQuest. People were playing EverQuest 2, I think, when WoW came out.
Because I remember people really liking Ultima series, and Ultima 7 is one of the...
Yeah.
Like the greats for them kind of thing.
Yeah. The Ultima series is definitely foundational, like, for video games in general. Like, it's arguable. Like, I know we're going stepping back in time to like the 70s and the 80s at this point, but like I think it's arguable that without games like Ultima and Wizardry, you don't get games like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, like coming out of Japan.
100%.
Yeah. But yeah, apparently, according to this, Ultima Online wasn't that well loved back in the day.
You got to get these kids off their computers and outside playing in the street.
Well, I only got into the MMO in the World of Warcraft beta, so I'm not too familiar with the MMO scene before that. Like, I knew EverQuest was big, like back in the early 2000s. But like I didn't have much of a handle on it. Like, I only played WoW because one of my housemates at the time played WoW.
Yeah. But I imagine people were no-lifing EverQuest back in the day.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, it's called Evercrack. according to this. So they had a little
That was a good old list.
Yeah, there's a close but not quite list.
Yes.
Hopefully many of you have perused our list and flat out disagreed with our choices. Our inter-office debate over which games went in and which got cut went long into the evening. Here are some games that didn't make it and why. So there's a few on here. Tetris. It spawned every puzzle game in the 90s, but the fact it was released in 88, earning it an automatic disqualification.
That's fair.
Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Great game, but it seems to represent the apex of the traditional action-adventure game rather than a cornerstone of a new foundation.
I mean, it allowed Majora's Mask to happen.
It did, and that was the better game. I
Sorry,
don't think Majora's Mask... Yeah, Majora's Mask came out in 99, I think. I don't remember. But I like their reasoning for that, where it's like, it feels like the apex, not necessarily like the thing that pushes the
base
next,
camp to get up there.
Yeah, I like that reasoning for a list like this, right? Where it's like, if you're making a list of like influential games, I imagine the like thought to just include games that are amazing is quite high. Like the temptation to be like, well, Ocarina of Time is one of the best games I've ever made. It is, but is it influential? And at the time, we did I guess they didn't know that. It was quite influential.
You got to give it time to let it influence stuff.
You've got to give it time to let it influence stuff.
Yeah, people who voted in that BAFTA poll. Goddamn idiots.
We've also got
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Jesus fucking Christ, it's not even the game of the year. Crash Bandicoot. Like Zelda, it's one of the best of its kind and did manage to take classic 2D platforming action into the third dimension. However, it just didn't add any revolutionary elements to the mix.
Yeah. But people enjoyed the heck out of it, but I get that. It didn't change video games forever kind of thing.
Yeah, which is the premise, I guess, we're working off of here. Because the next one's another one that I didn't think of when we were doing the BAFTA list. But you know what? Maybe I should have. It's Virtua Fighter. The game added a new dimension to fighters, but it didn't have near the impact of Street Fighter 2. But I think it did have a huge impact on fighters.
100%.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't think that impact was necessarily felt at that time.
Because I think it was a lot more niche in Street Fighter, and I know like Street Fighter didn't go necessarily 3D for a while afterwards. Like from Virtua Fighter, we've got things like Dead or Alive and Soul Calibur and so many other fighting games as well. And like everybody remembers the visuals on Sega Saturn and Dreamcast for Virtua Fighter, and those were iconic. So yeah. Like it added because is it Tekken? Is the fighting game where it's like it added the side steps? Yep. Yeah. Tekken was the one.
Yeah, because I didn't play many fighting games, but you know what? I did play quite a bit of Virtua Fighter. My friend had the Saturn. I think it was Virtua Fighter 2 on Sega Saturn. And one of the things I remember about it, not necessarily the side steps, was the ring outs. Because all the rings were circular, but they all had like edges you could kick your enemies off of.
Yeah.
And like I kept doing that to my friend, and he didn't like it, like at all. Next up was Parappa the Rapper. Well, it's definitely one of the most original titles of the 90s, and it's a bona fide phenomenon in Japan. It only achieved cult hit status in the States.
Yeah, like I'm at on the list of things which almost made it. I'm surprised Tony Hawk wasn't on this list.
It's not.
Just in terms of
there's 3 more entries on this, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's not on here.
Just in terms of what it did for street culture and skate culture, and how it kind of democratized that across for so many people, kind of thing. And but yeah, what else is on the list?
Next up is NBA Jam. Just when sports games were getting too serious for their own good, along came Jam to lighten things up. It and NFL Blitz were cuts that just barely got excluded.
Boom, shakalaka.
Yeah, I think I remember playing this quite a bit. It was like you could set
big head mode and
set the baskets on fire and stuff like that.
yeah, he's on fire.
He's on fire.
Yeah.
I played a bit of this on the Mega Drive. The next entry is Dreamcast games. I want everybody who voted in the BAFTA list to take these next words to heart. This is why we're all mad at you. In the end, we decided it was too early for us to quantify the effect of any current Dreamcast games would have on the future. Check our next decade's list of influence.
See, no one's putting Sonic Adventure 2 on here just because it came out last week.
And the last one, anything from Art Dink. When it comes to originality, Art Dink is king. Unfortunately, its games are so whacked out, it's like glimpsing into a future that people just aren't prepared for. Just you wait, come 2048, Art Dink will probably be recognized as the Salvador Dali of our industry. And you might be thinking, who the fuck are Art Dink?
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
You would be right. They're still going today, as it turns out. But I'm looking at the games that they released in the 90s, according to Wikipedia. And you know what? There are some games on here. No One Can Stop Mr. Domino for PlayStation 1. I don't know if you remember that game. That is a very, very cool. And it's a game that I want to stream. Colony Wars for PlayStation 1. Is another one that I think I have behind me back there. But yeah, unfortunately, like not the Ogre Battle, the March of the Black Queen, which is like an Ogre Tactics precursor.
Okay.
But they are actually still going into the modern day, and have done some stuff that I think you might know. For example, Dragon Quest 3 2 HD 2D remake.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or Soul Hackers 2 or Triangle Strategy for the Nintendo Switch. I guess it's on PC now. But yeah, no, they're still around. I don't think they're going to be known as the Salvador Dali of video games, but hey,
Good for them.
No One Can Stop Mr. Domino is a game I know. I've heard of.
There you go.
So they had a write-up at the end that I also want to read and I want to get your reaction to. Before we jump into OpenCritic Head-To-Head. So they've got the next decade. Imagine being immersed in a first-person, fully 3D, gargantuan world with graphics of movie quality. So far, you've only explored just a few blocks of the huge capital city your character lives in and had a few tussles in the sewers. But you hope to travel to the wilderness, maybe go to another continent, just as soon as you find or buy the engine upgrade and better exhaust system you so desperately need for your vehicle. Looking around, you notice that the sun is setting and realize that your real-life persona is as tired as your character. You stop to see if a couple of your online friends are home, but they must be out on an adventure of some kind. Deciding to call it a day, you'll walk your character back to the apartment that was included with your registration fee. Once there, you check to see if any good web shows are on. Then, get ready to log off. Making sure your door is locked, you summon your favorite monster, the one you spent plenty of months breeding and plenty of cash training and feeding, and instructed to guard your character while you're away. After all, some ruthless player killer could sneak into your place while your character slept and the world moved on without you. Does it sound like a movie? Does it sound like a surreal place all its own? With the amazing advances games have made in the last 10 years, does it really sound so far away? Only time will tell, but we're willing to bet that comparing the games of 2010 to the games of the 90s is going to be like putting a Dreamcast up against an original Pong upright.
Wow. They were chefing on that one.
They got some stuff right. They
wrote that down, leant back in their chair, and lit a cigarette.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, so that was their I guess that was sort of like their vision of the potential,
the vision of
next 10 years of video games.
Because you could see there's some GTA 3 influence in there. There's some Second Life stuff going on. There's some perpetual online shooters
going on.
There's some Tarkov stuff going on in terms of I need to make sure all my shit's safe when I log off kind of thing and barricade the doors and stuff. And
when considering they're only talking about the 2000s, the next decade of games, it's they were so far ahead of the time for some of this stuff. Because if you read that sentence in 2010, you'd be like, well, what are you talking about, dickheads? Yeah. But now in the age of extraction shooters and EVE Online, it's no, that actually is a thing, like in certain games, right?
Yeah, and Star Citizen of people spending thousands and thousands of real dollars and pounds to buy virtual
like,
stuff.
GTA Online,
Yeah.
like this is an interesting description of a bunch of like what GTA Online did. So it is fascinating how like they missed, but only because they called the shot too early.
Yeah,
but with some of the stuff they were absolutely right. Like, you know, you've only explored a few blocks with the capital city, but like, you know, you're going to explore more.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you got like games that like were like, here's a city.
And now like here's a continent, go explore it.
Yeah. Now we're like, can we scale back on this a little bit?
Games are too big. 10 hours, that's what we need.
Look, the Witcher 3 was cool, but like, can we just like maybe condense that down a little bit?
Here, your frying pan.
But yeah, no, I thought that was fascinating. And what it makes me want to do is see if they did one for the next decade.
Yeah, in 2010. Go back
and then like let's see what they say.
I really like this segment.
I liked it a lot as well. Like, it's funny that it spawned from a segment where we both got kind of mad.
Yeah.
At BAFTA, and then and now we're at a point where it's like, I'm having fun.
Well, I think the thing here is BAFTA gave the people too much power.
Sure.
And if we give people like with some semblance of reining themselves in, that's when we get the good stuff.
And like, if somehow, if you are like someone who wrote for Game Informer in 1999/2000 and you found your way to this podcast somehow, like, good job. Like,
absolutely, salut.
I think it was a good list. I think you presented your arguments really well, and it was actually kind of entertaining and not at all as cringe as I was fearing when I decided to read things from a gaming magazine from 1999. Because there was a fear in the back of my head that I was about to cancel the podcast.
Like, I bet you on the next page it's going to be the best boobs at Duke Nukem. It's just a bunch of pixelated screenshots.
The next page is a news page.
Okay.
Apparently, the big news was Shenmue got delayed. What was that?
The most influential game of all time.
And Pokemon was declared an educational nuisance. Hold on.
Yeah, because kids were playing Pokemon in the back of class. They weren't learning.
It's better than that. Several schools in New Hampshire, New York, New Jersey, and Washington have banned Pokemon trading cards from public school grounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't do it in the playground no more.
School officials report that the mega popular card game has been starting fights, breaking up friendships, and causing classroom disturbances.
Yes.
A little boy
he stole my Pikachu.
A little boy was practically in tears because he had traded 2 of his cards for 1 card he thought was worth more than his 2 cards, said Maureen Bass, principal of Center School in Windham, New Hampshire. When he found out it wasn't worth more, he wanted a trade back, but the other student wouldn't give the cards back. She went on to say, the cards are creating problems which we have to deal with. Kids have been taking the cards from the desks of other students.
Yes.
Fucking shit. It's a fucking purge over in America.
Maybe I don't know what to tell you. Business is business.
You know what? I rescind my comments from 2 weeks ago about Pokemon not being an influential video game. Like, fucking, I'm fully on board now. There's a picture. There's a picture of Pikachu with a
with a big old cross.
With a big old, like no.
It's like a Ghostbusters no sign, no ghost.
I love reading old magazines. This is great.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, no. Let's
go to OpenCritic Head-To-Head.
Go to OpenCritic Head-To-Head. If you have any ideas for anything you want me to try and like look up from like classic magazines, like just hit me up. I'll read anything. Not anything. I mean, I'll read it, but I might not read it on the podcast. But like, this is fun. I like this. But it's time now for OpenCritic Head-To-Head. This is the game we play every week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of upcoming games. Whoever guesses closest to the score at the time of recording gets a point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Got a couple of games on deck. Ready to go, including the big release of the week. I knew as soon as I said my score and then you said your score, I was like, I should have gone up.
Yes.
But hey, them's the breaks. I went first last week. But we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Tempopo. I guessed it would get an 84. Vitz guessed it would get an 82. Moody guessed it would get a 79. At the time of recording, Tempopo has an OpenCritic average of 78, which means Moody gets a point.
GG's.
Yeah, I want to check this out. Which Beam Games, they made unpacking. Like, if I was to sit down and make a top 100 list, like, of my own, I'd probably have unpacking in my top 100 list. And I have actually thought about doing that. Ever since we did that stream, I've thought about just doing my own list and putting it out there.
Yeah, just setting it right.
Not necessarily saying it right, just being like, I apologize for like all of that. Have some wholesome content. But yeah, no, like, I'm gonna check this out. I like Which Beam Games. We also tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Moody guessed it would get an 80. I guessed it would get an 87. Vitz guessed it would get an 88. At the time of recording, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 has an OpenCritic average of 91, which means Vitz gets a point.
Believing in Ben Starr once again.
I need to change Moody's number. I didn't update it. Thought I hadn't. No, that's way too many. Yeah, no, like, I mean, look, we talked about this game a little bit last week. Like, I've been hyped for it since I saw it at the Xbox showcase. And my friend Luna Mothwings' preview fully sold me on the game. Like, to the point that, like, that's where the pre-order went in. So, like, I don't know if you want to, like I tell my friend, like, hey, tell Square your video specifically sold this game to me. Like, that £50 went into their pocket because of that video. Like, maybe I would have bought it anyway because, like, but like, yeah, that video like tipped me over the edge.
Hell yeah!
I can't wait to play it. Like, I'm really excited.
Absolutely, it looks absolutely stunning, and now that I've learned how to parry, I'm gonna have a hell of a fun time in that game.
You're gonna be making the video for me.
Yeah,
Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is for everyone. But yeah, no, I'm super excited. I love RPGs. It's something I've really embraced about myself in the last several years, where it's just like, I like RPGs a hell of a lot more than I like other genres of video game.
Yeah.
Except maybe survival horror games. I mean, I'm playing a Sega Saturn one right now, like. But yeah, that puts the scores at Amy 7, Vitz 11, Vitz 12, sorry. Amy 7, Vitz 12, Moody 14.
Yeah.
With one draw. This week, we're going to guess the OpenCritic average of Despelot.
This is a game that has been... I've been waiting for this game for years.
Me too.
There was an official gameplay trailer released at Day of the Devs 2021. I'm sure it goes well back before that. I think I even drafted this game last year or maybe the year before in our fantasy league.
It was... Like, for me in my history of the game, I don't know if I was necessarily too aware of it until it was a Tribeca selection in 2023. Yes. Like, I put a lot of stock in Tribeca's like game selections because like so many of them vibe with me.
Yeah.
And it was like, so like whenever I see a game at Tribeca, it instantly makes me like do the game lean, where it's like when that showcase is on, I am fully locked in.
Yeah, for people who haven't come across Despelot before, this is a soccer game about people get immersed in the streets and parks of Quito through the eyes and ears of an 8-year-old Julian. This game, it always gave me the vibes that it was going to be amazing. It is me to pick first for this time round. I'm going to go in at 85, please.
85.
Yeah.
I was just checking. There is a Tribeca happening at a Tribeca Games thing happening this year. Because now that there's no A3, it's like,
yeah,
85. Sure. Moody's not here. Text him and remind him to pick. You know what?
Where you going?
88.
Never fails.
I think it's going to be one of those sleeper indie hits that I've heard so much about.
Just the concept of You've always got a ball at your feet, and you're dribbling it through the streets. And when you kick it to various different NPCs, that's how you interact with them.
Yeah.
And obviously, some of them are going to react positively, and some of them are going to have some dialogue, and some of them going to be negative. And I'm sure you're going to put a window through at some point. You're going to have to run away. And
oh yeah, big time. Yeah, you're gonna hit someone's window, and they're gonna be real mad.
yeah, exactly. They're going to get big mad at you.
Big mad.
But yeah,
Yeah, like the story.
Great start.
The story intrigues me. And the setting, like, 'cause it's set in Ecuador. And like football was a big thing.
Universal language
in like 2000, but especially like in that era of like football history for Ecuador, because like they were like, I don't know if they actually qualified for the World Cup or not. I think they did. But it was a whole thing. Like when England won the football tournament, except they didn't, and they never will.
But we hear about it every single time.
Because they fucking suck. And England as a country sucks.
Yes.
We should get out of here. I think I'm about to get lynch mobbed. It's St. George's Day, Vitz. What did I do? Why did I say that on St. George's Day? They're going to know. St. George is going to come crashing through my wall like the Kool-Aid man.
He just about took down that dragon. I reckon you got him.
Oh, yeah. I fight dragons all the time in video games.
There you
How
go.
could it be in real life? Come on, you bastard. Where are you?
I bet that dude never got Fusradad.
Yeah, exactly. Fusradad. Skyrim. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, it took me a minute. I was like, yeah, sure. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this episode of the Words About Games podcast. I've had fun today.
Me too. This is a good old time.
Yeah.
But yes.
We have to do the outro now. Are we gonna like continue to do the outro with the energy that we've been doing, or are we gonna surprise at some point and actually like do a good one?
To be fair, I'm having lots of fun in the way that we do it. And
Right, sure.
I don't think we're doing it a disservice or anything like that, because we're hitting all the notes. We're asking people to high five the sky,
Sure.
live long and prosper,
Yeah.
do all that good stuff.
And like, I feel like everybody gets that. Like, we're doing this on purpose, right? I
Yeah.
feel like it's very important for me to get across that like we could do well at this if we wanted to. But we choose to do it in our own special vibey way, which is to just ramble on for a bit, and then eventually I just hit stop recording,